Rachel Edidin.
And I'm Miles Stokes.
And we are the co-hosts of Rachel and Miles Explain the X-Men, a weekly podcast where we walk you through the ins, outs, and retcons of our favorite superhero soap opera.
Recently, we launched a Patreon, and one of the stretch goals that you guys blazed through was weekly reviews of current X-Men books.
So, welcome to the first episode of Rachel and Miles Review the X-Men.
There actually weren't any new X-Men books that came out this week, as luck would have it. So instead, what we're going to do is review a couple that came out last week. So that's Uncanny X-Men number 24.
And Cyclops number 3.
So there was also an issue of Adjectiveless X-Men that week, but that's the very end of a run. So instead, we're going to jump onto that book when the new run starts.
We should probably also qualify that this is literally the first time we've ever done any kind of video production, ever.
So we really don't have any idea what we're doing.
This could literally actually end in flames.
So before that happens, let's talk about some comics. So let's start with Uncanny X-Men number 24. So as you can see from the branding in this top bar here, this is part of the Original Sin Marvel Universe event.
It doesn't actually tie into the larger story of Original Sin, it's just also about a big dark secret.
Yeah, so basically, Professor Xavier, before he died, made a last will and testament. In this storyline, the last will and testament of Charles Xavier, She-Hulk is at the Jean Grey School, the will is going to be read, and Xavier requested that all the X-Men, Cyclops included, be there.
This is a problem. The X-Men are currently split into two factions, so the Jean Grey School guys have to go get Cyclops' team for the will reading.
Now, this issue, so this is by Brian Bendis as the writer and Chris Anka as the artist. Bendis took some time to get a feel for the characters, but by this point, he knows them very, very well. We have some excellent dialogue between Shadowcat and Illyana, between Beast and Storm, between Cyclops and pretty much everyone.
And also some really good Iceman stuff. Iceman tends to be one of those characters who writers sort of forget about or don't quite know what to do with. And that's something Bendis has consistently been, I think, really good about, and something that continues in this issue. I think some of the best emotional beats, actually, in this one are Iceman ones.
Totally. Now, the only other thing I want to cover is, you see we have Dazzler's new design here, her new sort of punk rock emo look.
Emu, angry dinosaur, yes!
That would be also a good look. I would buy that book.
I just really want it to be emu instead of emo, because they're rat dinosaur things, they make drum noises!
We're over 30, maybe the kids are doing
We
emus
used to have
days.
these friends in North Carolina whose house abutted this other house that had this place that raised emu, and they would all line up along the fence and glare and drum, and it was the most awesome, terrifying thing ever, and yeah, I want emu to be a trend.
Truly surreal.
Emu kids.
But anyway, so despite Dazzler being on the cover, she's been through some really horrible things recently because of Mystique, and she's going through an identity crisis, and I wish we got to see more of that, but unfortunately, because of the Original Sin event, it's all about dark secrets. Other than that, though, good issue.
Cyclops number 3 is the third issue of the ongoing series by Greg Rucka and Russell Dodderman. It is Dodderman's last issue, which is a shame because he's done an awesome job, but if you're going to go out, this is the note to go out on.
He's actually going to be moving to the new Thor book, and he's going to be awesome there, and I do love me some Thor, but it's still kind of a shame.
It's also colored by Chris Sotomayor, who I want to call out in particular, because colorists get kind of neglected a lot. And Sotomayor's coloring is just beautiful. It's atmospheric, it's gorgeous, and it's really essential to sort of the cosmic scope of this series. This book is all about teenage Cyclops, who's unstuck in time, traveling around the galaxy with his dad, Christopher Summers Corsair, who's a space pirate.
He's a space pirate, guys! A space pirate!
It's the best job. It's take your kid to work day, but take your kid to a fight in space day.
Mm-hmm.
Only this time they've crashed on an alien planet, and Cyclops discovers that Corsair is basically living on borrowed time. He's got these nanomachines that are keeping him alive, and he's got a limited supply. And this issue is basically about that and the conversations around it, and the two of them finally having a quiet moment because they're stuck on this planet, and having to talk through some of the things that they've been avoiding.
This actually reminds me of an old Uncanny X-Men issue from, I think, the early 2000s, where adult Cyclops and Corsair meet up and have a very similar conversation.
Yeah, that's even a camping trip, too.
Mm-hmm.
But the difference with this one is, honestly, this one is just way better. This is a series that's gotten better and better as it progressed, and this issue is just superlative. I mean, I bought a page of this, because I think it's one of the best pages I've seen in any series, period. It just, the way Dodderman and Rucka, I don't know how detailed the scripting is, so I'm assuming it's a team thing, managed to get just dynamism and connection and engagement in really quiet scenes as opposed to action sequences is something that's very, very rare in comics, and something that for me has really defined their run.
Yeah, it's good stuff. So, what's our comic of the week?
I mean, I think there's no question for me that it's Cyclops number 3. Uncanny X-Men 24 is good. It's very good. This is great. This is this is a comic that I will show people when they ask what comics can do and why they matter as a medium.
And our panel of the week?
That actually I'm going to say is from Uncanny X-Men 24, where the whole team's together and they've just heard this big, terrible secret about Charles Xavier.
We won't tell you what, because that would be a spoiler.
Well, they all look completely shocked and miserable, except for Emma Frost. She has a huge, entertained grin on her face, and it's a great contrast. I think that's it. That is it. We are done. We have done our first video reviews. They are reviewed. So reviewed. Reviewed as hell.
So we'll be back next week when we have been assured there will in fact be actual current X-books to talk about.
Or at least that's what they're telling us. Meanwhile, check out our podcast. New episodes go up on Thursdays at Comics Alliance and on iTunes, Stitcher, and at rachelandmiles.com, the latter with an additional visual companion on Sundays.
Mm-hmm. If you like this or our podcast, give us a review on iTunes or Stitcher, or if you'd like, feel free to contribute to our Patreon. And
thanks for listening or watching or whatever you're doing.
We'll see you next week. Can't swear on YouTube.
Oh, you can't swear on YouTube?
No,
Why can't you swear on YouTube?
Because then there's an age gate, it just sucks.
Where will children learn invective?
Dr. Nemesis.